So recently, Stephanie took a dive into the MCU.
I did.
So you started off with Captain America, I'm assuming?
Mm-hmm.
How'd that go?
It was interesting.
Okay, cool. Moving on.
What'd you think? Really, like, well, us, you know.
I don't know. It was kind of boring to me.
I
be
thought
honest.
the same thing the first time I watched it.
I was like, everyone's hyping this up, and I'm just like, oh, like it too much. I was like, I'm gonna just keep watching it.
Yeah.
It will get better. I wanted the fighting scene to be better.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't. But I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. I'm like, I know all of this stuff comes out in other movies, so just keep watching. So I got through it.
You survived.
I survived.
That maybe because of the time period that it took place in. No.
Oh, it was just boring.
No, I had the same feeling the first time I watched it.
Yeah.
I was bored. I didn't enjoy it as much as I hoped I would.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I totally understand that. There is a lot of stuff that is set up, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's setting up for the future.
Right.
I think my favorite part of that movie was Agent Carter. I did love Agent Carter. Agent Carter she was in that movie, right?
Yes.
Okay. She was always like my favorite like character, for sure. So yeah. The time period might have been a lot to do with it. In my opinion, well, for me, it might have had a lot to do with it. But it was a long time ago though that it came out too. So
What did you think of the actual character?
I thought it was interesting, like his heart. I understand why they chose him for that project, but yeah, he was cool to me. I liked him, but
The story didn't do it for you?
No, it was just boring. It wasn't. Everyone made it seem more exciting than what it was.
Mm-hmm.
I think the ending was more exciting throughout that entire movie.
Have you been sitting back and like watching the after credit scenes too? Because I think this one has an actual commercial for the Avengers, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, at the end of it, like they actually show you like a trailer for the Avengers.
Right. Yeah. And I was like, just keep watching, Stephanie. Just keep going. Keep going. I'm like, this will explain why that happened.
Yeah, no, I agree. The first Captain America, I remember leaving the theaters and thinking that was boring. I really thought that.
I got you. It also came out in 2011, by the way. So yeah.
Well, Iron Man came out in 2008.
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, I totally agree with you. I felt that. Now I can go back to it and watch it more as a setup to the story that's coming afterwards. I feel like it's one of those movies where I've enjoyed more later, you know?
Okay.
Like, because that first time I remember the exact same thing. I was like, this was really boring. The CGI to make him smaller was terrible.
Yeah.
They just gave him a huge head.
Yeah. I was like, I'm like, it kind of reminded me of Voldemort before he got into his true form. So I was just like, what's going on here?
For me, it was. Did you guys ever watch the George Lopez show?
No.
A long time ago.
There were every once in a while there were flashbacks to when he was a little kid.
Oh no!
And they just literally put his head on a little kid.
Yeah.
No.
So to me, that's what that looked like. Yeah,
Like a bobblehead kind of thing.
That's
So they had George Lopez's head on a child, and to me that's what Steve Rogers looked like before the drugs, you know, before the steroids.
Yeah, yeah.
So, all right. So moving on from Captain America, we went straight to Captain Marvel, which takes place in 1994. I think it is.
I think so. Yeah. Again, it wasn't as exciting as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
I liked it, but still thought it was a little boring.
What did you like about it?
I liked how she finally figured out her own. Like that whole time she was trying to figure out her past or what she'd forgotten and all of this stuff, and then how she got the powers and just her taking control of herself. I like that. But other than that, I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah, I think for this one for me, Captain Marvel was like for I guess because we had already like come so far, right? Like the Captain Marvel. When did this one come out? Captain Marvel.
Oh, shit,
Yeah. We had already advanced so far that I didn't think that we needed to go back to Captain Marvel in that time. But then again, 2019. So it was. I personally didn't like this story either for this one. I'm not a fan of Brie Larson, I guess, because she's just so stoic. She's just so stoic. Like, to me, she was stoic. She was just like kind of lame. And I felt like the build up that they were trying to have, where, for example, what you said, like she finally realized like some of her memories or whatever. I just felt like she was already using her powers, and then they were like, oh, by the way, these are her powers. And I was like, wait, what? Like, we already got her powers, like we already knew her. So for me, like, just this one was kind of like they needed to throw it in because they were gonna show her, much later on, type of thing. But in the timeline, maybe if it would have came out like in the order that it's actually in, right, the way that we're watching it now, it probably would have been maybe more interesting, like a little bit more interesting back then. Mm-hmm. But for the time, it just wasn't really that interesting for me. Yeah.
So here you got to meet Nick Fury. Well, I guess technically you got to meet him in the last one too, when he just showed. But here you get a lot more of him.
Yeah.
And again, it was one of those things where although the CGI looked good, making Samuel Jackson look a lot younger, he still runs like an old man.
Okay, I think that's another issue. I am not a fan of Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh, okay.
And to know he's in this, I'm just like...
Yeah, he's a big part of it, yeah. He's all of it.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, oh.
Yeah.
Stick through it, Stephanie. Just stick through it. But yeah, no.
You know what's weird, though, is that those movies... Captain Marvel came out much later, right?
Mm-hmm.
From Captain America. But yeah, it should have been better than it was, in my opinion. But what were you going to say? You were going to ask something?
About Fury. Okay, so he's completely blind. That cat just took his eye?
Yeah, basically. He screwed up his eye.
Like, I was like, what? I'm like...
It's a Furkin.
Yeah, why did he do that in the first place?
Cats be cats.
It's true.
Cats are assholes.
They'll take your eyes.
My cat hasn't. Thank goodness.
Oh, just give him a chance.
Yes.
I will never give him a chance.
Least if the... Wait, I can't word this right.
Can English?
When you least expect
it.
Oh,
there you go.
There you go. Well, and then we go into Iron Man, which was technically the beginning of the MCU with Robert Downey Jr. and...
Why did they change his... That's later. I'll go to that later. I enjoyed it. I'm like, okay, if I would have just started off with that, I probably would have liked everything else. But I'm going in the order
the release order. I mean, the timeline.
The timeline, yeah. No, at first I was like, ugh, he's so arrogant. But to actually see how he became and then how smart he is, I was just like, oh, this is actually really cool. I like this.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of action.
Yeah.
I think that's what was lacking in the other ones. There was not unnecessary. There was just action that just didn't make sense in the first two movies. I was just like, okay. But with this one, it's like, yeah, he's actually, I don't know, I guess with the military, that he's like, he was providing for the military and then trying to make right by the wrongdoings or whatever. I just thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. And Robert Downey Jr. is just excellent as a character. Like he's cocky, he's sarcastic, he's witty, he's funny, and he's fun to watch.
Yes.
Like he totally embodies what Tony Stark is.
Yeah.
He definitely made this movie.
Right. I like him as an actor anyway, so I was just like, oh yeah, this is gonna be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. Like we this is with Jeff Bridges as the villain. He played a Killmonger.
No. Killmonger?
No. Yeah. Ironmonger.
Ironmonger?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that was his name.
Yes. Killmonger's the other guy. No, he's Ironmonger. And yeah, like I like the storyline, and you do get to see some character development. And like one of my favorite scenes is when you see this terrorist group taking out like all these people in that village,
Right.
and you know, like right when they're about to take out the dad,
dad.
like that's when Iron Man lands and does his thing.
Yeah.
And it's super cool. Definitely a lot of fun.
Yeah, yeah. It was definitely a good setup, a good start, excuse me, for the MCU. And I remember just loving the movie too. I need to watch it again now. Now I want to watch the 3 that you've seen so far. So not Captain Marvel.
You would have skipped the Hulk, huh? Because that's not on Disney Plus.
Yeah, it's not on Disney.
It's fine. It's not great. Plus, it doesn't really come back.
The Hulk, the Edward Norton Hulk wasn't that bad.
No, but it's not really necessary.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not necessary.
Yeah, because that was Universal still.
Mm-hmm.
I've
but-
seen the Hulk.
You've seen it?
Yeah, that's something I actually did see.
Wait, you saw it as like right now that you're watching these
No.
movies? Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah.
No, I saw it a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Ed Norton. And I don't remember much of that movie. I remember Liv Tyler was in it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. What else has she been in? Why was she important recently?
She was in Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah. There was something else.
Armageddon.
Oh,
Of course.
do I remember Armageddon? Yeah.
Empire Records.
I haven't
Empire
seen that.
Records. No, neither have I.
That movie.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on to Iron Man 2.
Did you get to see it?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Iron Man 2's kind of boring, I think.
No, I liked it.
Oh, you liked it?
I did.
All right,
I'm
cool.
just trying to figure out why they changed characters for Rodney.
Oh, yeah.
There are reports that Terrence Howard wanted more money,
Got it.
and he was mad that Robert Downey Jr. was getting paid as much as he was getting paid, and it's like, he's kind of the star, bro. It's kind of how it works. So there were reports that he just wanted more money. Don Cheadle is great. I love Don Cheadle. I saw him on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Don Cheadle?
Yeah.
Oh. Like the new Fresh Prince?
No.
Oh,
The one
Yeah.
with Will Smith.
got you. Wasn't he getting into legal troubles too? Like, didn't he get arrested or something like that? The guy that was originally playing Rhodey?
Oh yeah, because he was. I think he got a DUI.
Oh,
I
okay.
think it was. Like that was.
Was it?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so.
Yeah.
But yeah, so all right, what did you think of Iron Man 2?
I like the story where he's truly discovering, because he had this whole thing about his dad, where he's like, my dad didn't care, but then come to find out his dad did care. I was like, oh, I have daddy issues, so you know, I'm like, oh, to see that his dad actually loved him, I'm like, that's great. And then just to find out that idea isn't just an original idea, but it's like, what kind of sucked was the dad kind of stole the idea from that guy and then got him deported.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I was like, oh, well, no wonder why you have a vengeance. Yeah, I would totally do that too. So I liked it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because this is the one with Whiplash.
It is the one with Whiplash, yes.
Got it. I was trying to remember which one it was. Yeah.
And then you watched Thor, right?
I did.
I'm sorry.
I like Loki.
Yeah.
Tom
Everybody
Hiddleston
likes-
is good,
yeah.
yeah. I get it.
No.
But what did you think of the movie overall?
I like the colors. No, it was good. I liked it.
Yeah.
It's not like, how can I explain it? It's not like the cartoons or the comics that I've seen. you
Yeah,
know, but
I could see that.
yeah, no, it was good. It was decent.
Yeah, so we had Thor just being belligerent, I guess.
Yeah.
He's cocky and another.
Yeah.
But I'm like, don't people portray gods like that anyway? Doesn't he think he's a god? Is he a god?
Yes,
Yeah.
the God of Thunder. Oh, you guys need to play Ragnarok.
Oh, God of War.
Yes. Like the portrayal of Thor in that game is really good.
Okay.
Like it is really good.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's a lot closer to the source material than what we get in Marvel. But it's great. It's yeah. And then I guess I'll wait for you guys to play that game, which is just not going to happen at this point. How long have you had
I
it
promise
for?
I'm gonna play it now. It's been at least 6 months, I think. It's just been. I don't even know where it's at now. I think about it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just wow.
But I like the fact that he did become worthy of his.
Mew Mew.
Yeah.
But yeah, to see him, I don't know, the way you guys talked about him before, it seems like he just gets worse.
Thor 2 is usually considered the worst Marvel movie.
It's not a good movie. I don't remember it either. Like I think that's the first. That's even one of the ones that I bootlegged at one point because I was like, meh.
It's with the Dark Elves, which should have been a cool story.
Yeah.
But
They had another language.
I think they do.
Yeah, the elves speak a different language. So in the bootleg version that we got, right, the elves were speaking, were speaking, and we weren't getting subtitles. So I was like, are we supposed to be able to know what they're saying? You know? So yeah. Then I just gave up.
It's kind of like when I watched the Avatar, the second one, because I bootlegged it. It had subtitles in Spanish.
Oh,
I'm like, I don't know Spanish. So I'm just like,
Yeah.
I think
See.
I get it. I know that one. But I don't know. I just understood because of the way the motions and like the emotions that they were doing in that movie. I was like, okay, I kind of get it. But anything else, if I ever bootleg it, I'd be like, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean Thor was. I mean, it does introduce Loki, which is a great villain, and I love Tom Hiddleston. He's great. He's fantastic. He's a very charming man. He has a lot of charisma, and especially as the bad guy, just it's a fun. He's a fun character,
Yeah.
and just seeing where it all goes and knowing what's to come.
But for him, I can understand why he became the bad guy. He was lied to his entire life.
Yeah.
By people who destroyed his family, but then to find out that his own father kind of just left him for dead, it's like, well, no wonder why you're trying to wipe this entire race out.
Yeah.
It's like, who wanted you? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I would have been low key.
Yeah. And then they kind of always put him in a sense of like that he was a prince, right? Never really explained why he wasn't getting the same attention almost that Thor was getting, I felt like, from what I remember. And because Thor was the one to he's going to take over the mantle, right? Like, so it was always like that he was lied to all his life, you know, like about who he was. And yeah, of course he'd be mad, you know, in that series. So I don't know. They fought ice giants in this one too, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but for Loki, for me, I didn't, obviously, until I watched the whole movie, I didn't realize that he was not part of that race.
Yeah,
You know, that I just thought it was just sibling rivalry.
Yeah, oh, okay,
you know, because Thor's older.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, the oldest gets the throne unless something happens. So then it gets passed down. It's just like the whole Lion King thing. You know, Scar didn't get it because
He's just
was
a
he
brother.
the oldest? Because he seemed older.
Yeah. He looked older.
Because his name was Scar.
But
Yeah.
it's usually I thought it was a storyline like that.
Oh, I
that
got it.
It's just two brothers fighting for the throne, pretty much. But no, completely took me by surprise. I was like, oh, okay. Especially when he was like, I'm not getting frozen.
Yeah.
When they touched him, because
Yeah.
they were like, don't get touched, and then he gets touched, and it goes away, and he's like, wait, why? Yeah.
You should have made these movies.
I would watch them.
Yes.
Just Stephanie recaps the Marvel Universe.
Yeah. Drunk History. Yeah. Have you ever seen that?
I have.
Oh, yeah.
All right. I mean, so you got Avengers next, and that is the end of Phase 1.
Okay.
The Avengers. That's what these movies have all been culminating up to. And I know that the original Avengers, I watched it in movie theaters 7 times.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Cool.
It became one of those movies where somebody said, I haven't seen it. I was like, cool, let's go right now.
That's cool.
So, Iron Man 2 is the one who introduced Black Widow.
Yes. That is where yeah.
Because I was like, why is she in this?
Oh, yeah.
And then I
Why
realized,
isn't she in everything?
They give her a really bad like wig in that first one though, and Iron Man 2. I didn't like it.
She had a wig.
She did, right? That was her hair?
Wasn't paying attention to the hair.
I can see why.
No, but that does have one of my favorite scenes where her and Happy are infiltrating that facility.
Yeah.
And Happy is just fighting one guy, and she just goes in and takes everybody out.
Yeah.
And Happy's like, I got this one.
And then he looks and is like,
Yeah.
That's what a way to be emasculated.